Good morning and a very warm welcome from Leidos. So my name's Tim Crofts. I'm the Vice President of Business Development here at Leidos in the UK. And it's a great pleasure to welcome everyone to our breakout session titled Operationally Led, Digitally Enabled, Delivering Transformational Change Across the Public Service. I think having listened to both Joanna, Mark, Craig and Chris Amon from AWS, I hope many of the things that we're going to talk about this morning really resonate with some of the themes that they were sharing around data, collaboration, policy and process, but also pace, speed and agility. So I'm hoping that we can pick some of those things up. This morning we're going to cover a few minutes just on who Leidos are and just to set some context for you. And then really we're going to move into sharing 3 client examples that really demonstrate our operationally led, digitally enabled approach. We'll have some time for Q&A at the end, so likewise as per the plenary session, if you could use the chat function to register questions and then we'll pick up from there. So moving on to who is Leidos. So Leidos is an organisation whose mission is really about making the world safer, healthier and more efficient through the use of information technology, engineering and science. And really our vision is about bringing those types of capabilities to bear with our clients' most complex problems. We operate globally across many countries, serving with about 35 to 37,000 employees, with a strong engineering, science and technology background, with many of our personnel coming with a military background. We actually operate across 4 client segments, what we describe as civil, health, intelligence and defence. Here in the UK, we've been operating for some 30+ years. We've got about 1,000 staff here in the UK across some key hubs across the country, with the 4 key sites there being Glasgow, Bristol, Farnborough and Whiteley down on the south coast. In the UK, we operate three divisions focused on the UK market. Our civil business, which covers much of our civil government and devolved business, as well as transportation and energy. Our national security and defence, covering our work in the Home Office, policing, intelligence and the defence community. And our logistics division, which is primarily set up to support our logistics contract with the Ministry of Defence and other bits of UK government. Our clients here in the UK really support that structure. So a number of you probably aware that we do quite a lot of work with the Ministry of Defence. We're going to come on to talk about that in a second. Joanna Davinson, as you heard this morning, is a client of ours at the Home Office, and then we do a variety of other things across the types of clients we have on the board there, but also in the kind of devolved government space in Scotland and across transportation with air and road clients in the government community. So just a little about Leidos there. Now to move on to really the workshop title, and we named it Operationally Led, Digitally Enabled really for a reason, because this is the approach that we try to take to help our clients deliver transformational change across the public service, putting really the focus firmly on what this means really for the user community and across the stakeholders. Today we think we're going to be able to demonstrate how we've worked delivering digital technology to really support client outcomes and drive that operational change. So presenting the 3 examples, so the first one that we'll come on to in a second is our work in the Ministry of Defence and the logistics transformation programme there, where we've implemented a supply chain integration platform, which we'll talk some more about in due course. We're also going to share a little bit about our work at the Metropolitan Police and the command and control system that we're putting in the business transformation that's going to provide to the Met. And it's a great pleasure to be able to talk a little about some of the work that we've got with a US client in Customs and Border Protection, and their work on traveller processing and vetting software, which is hugely relevant as per the border conversation that we were having a little earlier. Really what's key though is the collaboration across all stakeholders, from public service clients and across their organisation and the multiple stakeholders, but also across industry partners. We find that we have to work with many colleagues and friends in industry, as well as with SMEs and other institutions, in order to be able to deliver those services. And that really underpins the case studies we're going to talk about this morning. Throughout the session, I hope that we'll be able to outline really our approach and the benefits of marrying up together policy, process and outcome-led approach in order to be able to achieve transformation objectives. So at this point, I'd like to introduce you to my colleague, James Langley. James joins us from our Logistics Commodity Services Transformation Programme, or LCST for short. James is the Director of Information Services on that programme, which is a unique partnership that we've really established, working with the Ministry of Defence, providing logistics support to the UK Armed Forces. James, welcome, and over to you. Thank you.
Thank you, Tim. And welcome everybody else. I hope you can hear me. Leidos has transformed the MOD's supply chain using digital technology, best-in-class solutions, and a strong operational focus. We run a 24/7 operation to support the MOD with its needs for commodities and authority material. Much of what we've been doing has, as we heard earlier, had an impact from COVID, and as part of what we've been doing, we have supported the NHS with the supply of ventilators, and we've been busy supporting the MOD with their needs throughout the pandemic. What I want to talk to you about is the Logistics, Commodities and Services Transformation Programme, a large outsourcing of the MOD supply chain to Leidos and its partners. We've taken on the management of 60,000 commodities across food, clothing, including the uniforms for all the services, and a number of general supplies. In our new Defence Fulfilment Centre, we are storing over 250,000 different unique items. The outsourcing has been a large-scale, complex transformation, integrating with MOD legacy systems and fundamentally changing the end-to-end process, something that Leidos globally has expertise in delivering. It's extremely high value at £6.7 billion, with the contract running for 13 years till 2028. It's a very unique programme in defence, and there have been interest in trying to do this sort of transformation from other suppliers. The platform we have built, the supply chain integration platform, is a best-in-class technology. It provides the services to enable the transformation of the operation, delivers the customer with financial savings, and is a great stepping stone for further transformation. We've removed 30 years of technical debt in a little over 30 months. We're supported by our partners on this programme, Kuehne+Nagel, Agility and TVS. Each play a vital role in the operational services we provide to defence. I'm now going to play you a short video, and you'll see from that the new Defence Fulfilment Centre that we've delivered for defence, moving on from some of the more older storage facilities they have.
The size of 10 football pitches, the £83 million MOD-owned, Leidos-operated Defence Fulfilment Centre is a world away from how we've receipted, stored and issued our inventory in the past. But it's not just about a new warehouse. Modern information systems for warehouse and transport management have been introduced, which will bring our processes up to industry best practice, producing near, real-time management information and ensuring efficient and effective support to our armed forces.
Great. So, all of the Defence Fulfilment Centre there, big, impressive, lots of robots and technology inside it. But the real power behind the Defence Fulfilment Centre is the supply chain integration platform and the technology it delivers to automate the end-to-end process. We've built that on a private cloud, meeting the MOD's requirement for official sensitive information, and using largely virtual machines to do that. We have a plan to move that into Amazon Web Services as part of our transformation. The IT solution we've built is a system of systems using industry best-in-class technologies. So our warehouse system is from JDA, now renamed Blue Yonder Dispatcher, right at the top of their best systems around the world. Our transportation management that we use is Oracle Transportation Management. Gartner put that way out as the market leader in terms of technology. We use Sage for our finance Oracle databases. But the true heart of our system is a product called IBM Sterling Order Management, which if you're ordering online groceries, you're probably going through that system each time you order. IBM Sterling Management allows us to orchestrate the supply chain for defence, ensuring every order is delivered on time and in full. The other part of the another system that we provide is procurement. So we are procuring those that food, those uniforms, the pharmacy, and the other things, and we use a system called MSys. Familiar to those in the automotive industry and clearly has parallels with defence armoured vehicles and tanks. Those systems are fundamental to the services that we deliver, and we like to talk about them as services. We have a select key services that we provide: the procurement and supply, procuring 60,000 items such that the system can plan to order a pair of socks based on historical information. It executes that task every week, raises a purchase order directly to our suppliers electronically without any human interaction. Really important when you've got 60,000 different commodities that you're buying each week. We obviously have our centralized storage system and the warehouse that you've seen on the video. We then have the dynamic transportation management, really key to reducing cost, reducing the green footprint of defence, and planning to deliver those items on time so that you know what time it's arriving on what day. I've talked about the orchestration, fundamental part of the way the system works, ensuring that the whole system, the whole activity of the supply chain is planned through a central brain that runs the whole thing. We then do our financial management, key for invoicing and purchasing our suppliers and tracking costs. One of the new items we've introduced is a catalogue, not originally part of the contract, but that online ability for members of the armed forces to go online and order something in the same way you saw Amazon. And we're going to see a little bit of that in a moment. All of this is interfaced through a single skip portal available on a web page through a browser, whether you are a user in the front line or a member of the Leidos team delivering the services. We'll now just show you a short video on the catalogue. You can see some of the old technology there that form part of the catalogue. Oh, didn't play.
Leidos' vision sees online access to this smarter supply chain via a new e-catalogue, which gives each MOD user access to an inventory of direct supply items tailored precisely to their individual role. The e-catalogue provides detailed descriptions of items alongside illustrative photography and technical documentation. Elasticsearch enables users to quickly find and order the right item first time by searching on name, description, or NSN. As SCIP is designed for the military, security has been built into the fabric of the system. Users of the e-catalogue will have their own digital ID, and their view will be tailored to show only the items which their individual role allows
Key
them to
functionality
order.
there in the catalogue. If you go onto Amazon, they want you to buy anything. If you're going onto an MOD website, we really don't want to give you access to weapons or to medicines, so we have to control who has access to order what. The operational focus has been a real driver in how Leidos has transformed the supply chain for defence. And that doesn't come without its challenges. And I just want to sort of highlight some of those challenges and how we've met them. So if you went on to Tesco's website, you would expect to enter your customer name, your email. You'd expect to select a television and the television you actually wanted, the precise model. And you would certainly expect to enter your postcode and the number of your house. And you'd expect in return a unique order number and an email back. Well, that's not quite how defence works, and we don't actually get any of those when the MOD customer places an order from their systems onto us. So we've had to adjust how we work. We've had to adjust our vision, and one of the things we brought in for those commodities that we supply directly is the catalogue. So if you're a guardsman, you can go on and order your red tunic, have it delivered in 48 hours. In adjusting our vision, we've exploited technology to solve the problems we've encountered. So we built something that enables us to complete an address, which might be as short as 1 EB, an Estonian battalion in Estonia. And deal with the problems that having 10% of your addresses not being correct. We've managed to reduce that down to significantly less than 1%. And even though 10% of addresses are wrong, only 0.01% can we not identify where we're delivering to. Legacy systems have presented significant challenges, and the documentation around those has been challenging to say the least. But by looking at the benefits the programme was going to deliver for defence, and particularly the financial benefits, we've been able to map a path through the problems with legacy systems and still deliver the outcomes defence sought. Continuing the journey going forward, we're taking a 5-year view. That's why we want to exploit the cloud, get onto Amazon Web Services and start to use the machine learning and artificial intelligence that enables. Of course, transformation of this scale is quite challenging, and Leidos and its partners has had to deliver for the government, but we've also had to work for the legacy systems with the companies that provide the legacy systems. And we've seen them as partners and work with them for the mutual benefit of ourselves and of our customer. Delivering process change has been fundamental to what we do, and in order to do that, we've had to unify operational transformation and the team that does the technology change and engage widely with our customers so that they are prepared for that significant transformation. Moving on, I think it's worth just saying what we saw as what is necessary to deliver success in digital transformation. So key to us, for us, was keeping a laser focus on the outcomes to maintain momentum. A great user experience was clearly fundamental to that, and also was transforming the process and improving performance, all of which enabled us to deliver financial benefit for our customer. The business case we built has been operationally led and digitally enabled. Transforming the operation using digital technology has been about changing the end-to-end process and getting defence the financial benefit it sought and better performance in its supply chain. To do that, you need an honest baseline to demonstrate the improvement. I think if there's one thing I would have liked to see more emphasis on from defence was retiring legacy. We have built world-class systems to run the supply chain, but they are somewhat shackled to the legacy systems that haven't been retired. Leidos's approach in delivering this was about delivering best-in-class solutions, and we selected best-in-class products that we could configure quickly for defence. Where necessary, we've customized those products, and in certain cases, like building a solution that can deal with those addresses because they aren't collected accurately and correct them to somewhere we can deliver to, we built our own custom code. I think, above all, this type of transformation is about commitment. It's a journey. It takes time to deliver this large-scale transformation, and you can move it forward fast. But the journey starts with the legacy systems, the legacy policy, the legacy processes, and the legacy technology. And you've got to transform all of those to deliver a successful transformation. And of course, that only starts when you release that code into production. It also requires, above all else, deep expertise in technology, in our case, in the supply chain. So you need those subject matter experts and the right set of partners to deliver. Thank you very much, and I'll hand back to you, Tim.
Many thanks, James. Great example there of some of the policy and process challenges in order to aid us delivering transformation. So let me now talk a little to the Metropolitan Police command and control system. So at the start of 2020, we began work on a 10-year program to help the Met upgrade and maintain their command and control system, which is really responsible for the deployment of all of their officers out to incidents that the public have raised, and to protect the safety of London's 8 million residents and indeed visitors coming to the city, which of course have been somewhat less during 2020 for all the reasons we know. The force currently operates a 30-plus year legacy system, so akin to what Joanna Davinson was talking about. It's a system that remains effective and popular with the command centres, despite incredibly originally being customised from a baggage checking platform. However, it really has become increasingly difficult and expensive to support, and transitioning to a new system is really become urgent as the Met looks to transform its operations and provide new and improved services to the citizens of London, but also to enable different ways of working with police officers. So the solution must be really a flexible command and control system that allows the force to be able to capture emergency contacts from the public, but then of course subsequently being able to deploy officers or resources to incidents, and be able to work to pre-planned events like a Notting Hill Carnival, a demonstration, a large football match, or whatever it happens to be, to support the safety of citizens in London. So Leidos really hasn't been able to do this alone. We've worked with 3 partners, who are integral to the success of the programme. So our partners here are Hexagon Safety and Infrastructure, Frequentis, and Chaucer Consulting. So really the team will implement Hexagon's on-call dispatch system and Frequentis's multimedia LifeX communications platform, and Chaucer is helping us with the business change training and communications really across the Met to successfully integrate a large-scale new system into the operation. And then our role is really to bring all of that capability together, integrate the components, and to make sure it's tested, ready to be deployed, and ensure it's coherent from an operational perspective to improve the deployment of resources to incidents. So really how we found working together is really Leidos and its partners in the Met really working as one integrated team on the project. We all really rely on each other's subject matter expertise, skills and experience to make the programme a success. But core to the program is really creating the transformation that's focused on supporting operational policing on the front line. Being able to move from a system that officers and command centres have used for 30 plus years is quite a different way of working. So it's really about how we sit alongside the Met in being able to assist that change, and how we can support the command centres and the command centre structure, which is also changing, so we support the frontline service. But importantly, it's a system that's got to be really fully integrated to all of that. So that's where the business change, the training, and the communication and stakeholder engagement is critical. So what we've really done is we're in the process of doing is we're implementing an easy to use cloud-based system that really can scale, but importantly is loosely coupled from the components that really allows us to make it resilient, which is clearly very important for the Met, but to be able to add and change functionality to meet operational needs, particularly over a longer period of time as technology changes. So currently, even in the early stages, we're exploring opportunities with the Met for additional data plugins from different types of services, and we have discussed the future use of technologies like enhanced wearable technology over and above body-worn video, and how that would integrate into the command and control system. So really what this relationship with the Met has helped us to foster is really been about building a collaborative relationship, and it's how fundamental that really is to the success of every transformation program, whether it's on the logistics program or that we're about to hear on customs and border protection. So Leidos prides itself on that. In 2017, we became the world's one of the world's first businesses to achieve the international standard 44001 for collaborative relationships, which recognises, and I quote, effective identification, development and management of collaborative business relationships within or between organisations. The accreditation really came about with this type of work, but primarily with our relationship with the National Air Traffic Service, developing and supporting its air traffic management systems, and indeed we used in proposing for the Metropolitan Police work as a key reference. The learnings from the relationship really been implemented across this programme and many others here in the UK and in the United States. And this summer, Leidos became the ambassadors of the Institute of Collaborative Working, and in fact, we introduced the Institute to the senior officers in the Met as part of that process. So it's something we're extremely proud of, and corporately, collaboration is one of the key Leidos values. So at that point, I'd like to move on to welcome a colleague of ours, John Mears, as a Leidos Vice President Tech Fellow, from the United States. So John specialises in biometrics, identity management, and forensics. He talks often about the use of technology to improve citizen services, homeland security, law enforcement capabilities. So John, great to have you with us. Hopefully it's not too early for you, and look forward to hearing about customs and border protection. Thanks, John.
Well, good morning and good afternoon. I'm excited about this subject because it addresses a very challenging topic, and that's digital transformation in an operationally changing world. And my focus today is on the transformative challenges of border management. In keeping with our themes of outcome-led, policy-led, and process-led transformations, I'll cover these categories with 3 or 4 different examples for each listed here. These examples are drawn from our experience supporting seaports, land ports, and airports around the world. And the examples are from our Screening, Detection, and Automation Division for checkpoint and non-intrusive inspection, our Homeland Security Solutions Division for U.S. Customs and Border Protection, Traveler Processing and Vetting Software, CBP itself for the Automated Commercial Environment example, and our Biontra Division for port modeling optimization capability. When the pandemic hit, we saw declines in air travel of about 90%. The same was true of other public transit modalities, which ironically prompted some port and transit authorities to accelerate their transformation activities because the activities were easier to accomplish with fewer travelers using the systems. However, important changes are being introduced that weren't as urgent before the pandemic. We already had the concept of reservation to destination frictionless processing of travelers, but the pandemic forced us to look harder at touchless processing, voice or gesture activated interactions, standoff biometric authentication at control points, more automated self-service for low-risk travelers, and fewer transportation or border security officers in direct contact with the public. Another recent innovation is the incorporation of optional health checks along the way. For example, using infrared body temperature detection at identification or gate points for enhanced health screening. The desired outcome is that public health is improved, the traveler's overall experience is enhanced, and port workers' safety is increased. A desired outcome is safer passage through checkpoints, a component of the previous slide. This slide shows our visualization of a socially distanced modern checkpoint operation. It features self-service, touchless e-gates for identification and access control. The automated screening lanes feature parallel divestiture points feeding intelligent computed tomography X-ray machines. Machines can identify guns, sharps, drugs, money, and explosives without unnecessarily exposing humans to more humans. The automated diverter removes baggage with identified threats to a separate conveyor where a human is engaged to either deal with the threat or clear it for its onward journey to departures. The baggage bins are treated with an antimicrobial coating, and to make doubly sure of hygienic operation, the bins automatically return to the divestiture point through enclosed, sterilizing ultraviolet C illuminated conveyors under the screening lanes. The same kind of outcome can be extended to cargo, like shipping containers on lorries and trains. This is particularly useful for high throughput operations like roll-on, roll-off ferry ports or tunnel trains. Very large X-ray machines like VACUS allow a non-intrusive inspection regimen that doesn't require stopping the flow of cargo unless anomalies are detected versus the claimed bills of lading for the cargo. This can be used to detect smuggling, terrorism, and underclaiming of cargo for customs assessments. Container number and vehicle number plate readers further associate the conveyances to the cargo for verification, screening, and targeting purposes. In-cab or in-car face recognition further associates the vehicle with people and contents, creating another dimension of assurance. And on the right, you see radiation portal monitors for non-intrusive detection and identification of nuclear materials. Outcomes are best assured through research, development, and experiments to verify that the desired ones are in fact realizable by the systems ultimately deployed. To do this, we advocate model-based systems engineering and physical experimentation at scale, supplemented by field trials. Experiments at scale require specialized facilities and equipment like the one shown here in Vista, California, north of San Diego. There's a warehouse and production facility for assembling and testing systems and an outdoor range for experiments and tests prior to shipping to the field. We believe that this is the most responsible approach to outcome assurance, given the potentially major implications for impacts on travel and commerce flows. Outcomes can only be realized when there are policies that support and enforce the use of the deployed infrastructure. Here's an example of an automated land border crossing, which is actually used for military base access. The upper left photos from an Army base perimeter gate and the access control point on the right is typical of those used in such applications. Note the features of automated access control, including multi-factor authentication using a smart card, PIN, fingerprint reader, barcode reader, and face camera. This system is a Leidos development for the Army called the Automated Installation Entry Program. The same principles and policies can be applied to land border crossing challenges. However, instead of a military ID, the credential could be a border crossing card or app on your phone. Some nations or states have implemented policies restricting travel from some countries or states based on their population health status. Should there be an electronic health passport, perhaps to replace the yellow World Health Organization paper booklet? How will it be authoritatively maintained? Electronic medical records, independent test labs, honor system of traveler entered information, something like the independent certificate authorities? How will it be implemented? Through a new health passport, a smartphone app displaying a quick response code? I personally like the idea of a credit card sized smart passport card, which is writable with health records as well as electronic stamps for each border crossing rather than the old physical ink stamps in our paper passports. I note that the International Civil Aviation Organization, or ICAO, has been working on standards for electronic machine-readable travel documents, or EMRTDs, but the supporting policy must be accepted internationally. Here's a Customs and Border Protection example where policy and pledged cooperation between disparate participating government agencies resulted in a border transformation that benefited all the stakeholders. This CBP program is called ACE, the Automated Commercial Environment. ACE is a very popular accomplishment for CBP because it provides a single trade window instead of having to deal separately with the many diverse government agencies represented at the bottom of the slide who have regulatory responsibilities for imports. In this three-step process, the traders first remotely enter their planned shipment data into ACE, which CBP processes and stores in the second step, accomplishing all necessary screening and regulatory assessments. The third step closes the loop with the trade, permitting shipments and aggregating monthly customs fees. Associating ACE shipment data to container numbers and train cars, for example, from the previous slides, allows speedy inspection processes once the shipments finally do cross a border. Leidos supported the development of the original screening component of ACE, and more recently helped the Food and Drug Administration with their related component called the Mission Accomplishments and Regulator Compliance Services, or MARCS. Telecommunications technology is making it possible to accomplish immigration and customs functions in a mobile fashion before arrival at the port primary inspection point. Mobile Passport, a free application, is one such example. Pre-registration in this fashion can speed port passage, especially when used in conjunction with confirmatory sensor technology such as RFID, optical character reading, number plate readers, and face recognition. Such mobility apps and sensors not only make immigration and customs inspection processes accurate and fast, they can also provide situational awareness benefits, such as where to go upon arrival, where traveler services are located, what queues are longest and when, and even contact tracing processes for infectious disease control. These apps and sensors such as Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, and video analytics can also inform the dynamic need for port services, such as shopping or restaurants. In conjunction with port modeling services, such as those provided by Leidos' Beyontra division, port optimization and future planning are facilitated by modeling software before the construction is committed, assuring that port process changes will work as planned without disruption to critical traveler and cargo flow. More than 50 airport and airline companies worldwide use this service. Many digital transformation journeys involve cloud migration, and we've learned best practices and codified them into a cloud adoption framework to ensure we've completely and thoroughly prepared ourselves and our customers for the migration. The first consideration is the customer's business or mission, and honest assessment of the benefits, costs, and risks. Then an assessment of their most important asset, their people. An assessment of how their IT governance processes must change. An understanding of their platform needs. It's very important to assess security posture and how to deal with identity and access management and privacy. Then, how will they monitor operations and what provisions are made for business continuity and disaster recovery? After these planning considerations, one has to have a strategy for the actual cloud migration itself. The strategy has an assessment phase, which includes estimating resources and prerequisite actions to migrate. For each app, will they rehost, replatform, replace, refactor, retire, or retain? If an application is retired, for example, there's no reason to migrate it. It's important to demonstrate early success and build confidence in a pilot phase. One of the more consequential things anyone will do, as discussed in earlier panels, is data migration, followed by the migration of the applications themselves. which then allows the realization of the benefits of the cloud environment, especially when optimized and adjusted as needs evolve. So let's bring it all together. You've considered your outcomes, processes, policies, and let's not forget your people. These things are all strategic, but you may also have some lower level, more tactical objectives, which will guide your immediate actions. We spoke earlier about the cloud adoption framework and the cases where you have to do code development. You'll need an efficient approach that doesn't disrupt current operations. That approach is SecDevOps, currently in use by many of our customers. It provides a secure, continuous pipeline for insertion of new functions through advanced automation tools, processes, and testing. For the code development part of the pipeline, many customers are using behavior or test-driven development and 8-member agile sprint teams delivering in 2-week sprints aggregated in quarterly increments. In the case of the US Customs and Border Protection, they have some 80 agile teams very successfully doing their development work. Underpinning these processes is a robust quality assurance, surveillance, mission-related data analytics to ensure that the applications are performing as intended, and proactive maintenance and support staff. And this isn't just about reliably sustaining the status quo. It's about serving the evolving needs of your stakeholders and making innovation more than just an infrequent, unpredictable inspiration. Excellent. At Leidos, we think that making innovation a regular part of your processes, perhaps during a dedicated quarterly sprint, is the best way to ensure it actually happens. And this starts with your people, sponsored by a high-level executive, driven by a chief architect, and including members of the user community, and as appropriate, cognizant members of the larger commercial community, academics, and national research labs. Ideas that result are further vetted by systems engineers and subjected to further qualification that could include prototyping, business case, and risk assessment. Approved initiatives pass through the governance process and become part of the agile backlog groomed by the portfolio product owners for the sprint and program increment assignment. For project visibility and program control, accepted near-term innovations are tactically tracked, and longer-term innovations become part of the strategic technical roadmap. Continuous quality assurance closes the loop with the user community, ensuring that the substantive process serves user needs and mission requirements. I leave you today with these final thoughts on innovation. Transformation is best realized as a balanced mix of evolution and innovation. This is, of course, informed by your vision of outcomes enabled by your policies and realized through digitally enabled processes. Thank you for your kind attention today. Back to you, Tim.
Thank you very much, John. Appreciate that we're a little challenged on time, so I'll just say a couple of quick sentences to close. Thank you to my colleagues. Thank you for everyone for joining us this morning or this afternoon. I think just in summary, everything that I think we've tried to walk through is really been focused on our operationally led, digitally enabled approach. I think we've heard a number of examples where really the heart of being able to deliver in that way is about collaborating together, whether that's across the organizations that we're serving or indeed with industry partners, small and large, and in really involving all of those stakeholders in being able to deliver the outcomes. Thank you very much, everyone, for joining. I think we have, I think from the chat, looked like we've answered most of the correct questions that have come up. Thank you, James, for doing that. Does anyone have any other things that I haven't quite noticed in the chat room? But happy to take a question before we close the session. Okay, I'll give it another 20 seconds in case anyone wants to type or come off mute. Otherwise, we will close the session down. Look forward to receiving any feedback or any contact. I can see some folks wishing to make contact. So thanks once again, and good to talk to you all. Thank you. Bye-bye.